Hey guys, it's me, EODGamer here. A bit of a mini PSA and rant video that I want to do here is do not be deceived by 4-star only clears on YouTube. It's very easy to think, oh my gosh, someone can clear it 4 stars. Let me click on it and let's just take a look. I'm going to start building all my 4-star DPSs and supports right now. But very often than not, first, the biggest thing that I want you to consider is the stats of these people clearing the game are very unrelatable. How many of you have a 198 speed Hanya? And I likely won't tell you that right at the start of a 4-star video. That's why we never do these on our channel. It's so deceptive. I really don't like it when people just try to deceive community with like 4-star only clears. And I'm telling you very honestly and sharing you as a peer-to-peer kind of sharing. 198 speed, yes, maybe some of you will have 198 speed on one character. How about 2 characters, 160 on my Esther as well. Decent amount of speed. Much slower than my Hanya, so not as impressive. Maybe some of your DPSs have like 80, 160 crit damage ratio, a decent amount of 140 speed. Of course, using a signature light cone. So a lot of things are very unrelatable in terms of the 4-star stat pool that they are even running with. You would argue, yes, 4-star only clears, eventually you play the game for 10 years and stuff like that, you will all have these kind of requirements. But if you are a new player, a free-to-play player coming in the mindset that I'm going to get this equivalent team compositions, I'm just going to run like all these 4-star characters similar to what they are showing me and follow the guides as well, what build they are going for, you are in for a huge shock because firstly, the stat is very different. It's much easier to get 140, 150 speed character than pushing all the way to the almost 200 mark. At this point, I'm almost at 200, which is, it doesn't seem like a lot, but when you farm and you realize 198 is actually a little bit trickier to farm, you probably need to either play a long time or refresh or a bit of both. That is the first thing. Stat pool, totally unrelatable. And the other thing I want to talk about is, of course, you saw a little bit on the Sherry over here, signature light cones. Some people, 4-star only clears, they tell you it's a 4-star character, but I am playing here with a super imposition, one of a limited S rank, and this is just one of an example. What if it's S5? What if I have multiple S ranks on the different characters? It's a tricky thing because the stats pool are very different from S5 or like a 5-star rarity versus a simple 4-star rarity. The stats are so different just by the light cone, and it changes the character's damage output by quite a significant bit as well. On top of that, if you see a 4-star like this, a dance, and it's just in this picture here, it might be also not very honest. There is a deception involved, and I'm telling you this because I want you guys to be critical and like look at places that are common for people to hide. I'm sharing with you not because I don't even create any of these. I'm totally against this. That's why I'm sharing with you where to look out for so you don't be deceived. Super Imposition 5, dance. This is a gacha 4-star light cone pushing your whole team by 25. It is probably harder to get an S5 of a 4-star than an S1 of a 5-star, in my personal opinion. You will get there eventually, but it's not easy to do, especially to snipe down a light cone like this. What happens if they have two different dance? Unfortunately, I can't flex. I don't have a S5 of another one, but I'm close to that. Another S4 at level 80 and one S5 at 80. So 2 light cones of dance, both at S5. And some showcases might even have 3, 4 different harmony, 4 harmony characters at very investment, all with dance S5. Is that a 4-star only clear? Thankfully, it still is, right? It still is a 4-star clear, so no deception there. And the third thing that I want to talk about, so you talk about these stats, which is obtainable. Yes, EOD, you play the game for 1-2 years, you eventually get all of your light cones all the way to the end. But here's another thing that they are not telling you. If you have relatable stats like this, looks are perfectly normal. 140 is like meh, okay-ish. Crit ratio is like so. This is like typical for a Gallagher. And then you are running with like a relatively free-to-play light cone as well. So it looks quite relatable. Not too bad, not too impressive. This thing is like only S1. So yeah, it looks like a free-to-play 4-star only clear. Then after that, you click the Eidolons. E6. Not just 1, 2, 3, 4. And not just that. Like, this guy probably has a roster of everything like E6. So the person is probably like clearing everything with freaking E6 on their entire account. So he can pick and choose whatever character he wants, and all his 4 stars is at E6, which a free-to-play player watching the video is going to get tremendously thrown off guard by that ratio because you do not have the stats, you do not have the light cone, you do not have the character pool that the person has, and you simply do not have the gear and roster depth that the person have. Why does roster depth matter? And I want to share with you real quick. In the Memory of Chaos, when you go in, if you have everything at E6, which a player might not have, or a huge roster depth of every character leveled up, you go into one of these nodes and you see the turbulence, a person making the video will be like, I'm just going to put in the best characters that maximizes this buff as quickly as possible. If you are a free-to-play player building your team compositions thinking that, yes, this is going to work because this team composition he's showing me is a full clear of Memory Chaos 12, is likely going to be very strong, then you start copying his exact same builds and stuff like that, whoever is doing these kind of videos, you're going to be misled because your team compositions will not be versatile characters. You might be building specific characters like Yukong, who is very niche, specific for like imaginary DPS to like pop off and stuff like that. Or perhaps you're building like other niche characters in the game. Maybe I'll say like Misha is relatively niche, maybe to tackle like some sort of ice content as well. Your account will look very different and you're going to allocate resources all in the inaccurate places. And that is something that I really want to like point out. Don't be misled by these kind of things. Instead, let's compare it with like the truthful, honest view. What I would actually be looking for. Then this comes the flip side. Now that you know like how to spot these kind of downsides and fallacies, what you should look for, always go to like the character builds. Always go to, before you even bother watching the damage, before you're watching the screen, ask yourself, what is the stats that you're running with? I always like to see firstly, the gear, or you can see this in this very obvious screen. If they hide something here, something's wrong. It's a red flag already that you need to look out for. This tells you immediately what is the tactic that they're playing. If you see this damn light cone over here on a Harmony character, if they do not show you the superimposition, this superimposition, another red flag that you want to take out for, take a note as well. Supports are super important. So DPS, of course, is the ratios, what is their gear that they're using, and obviously Eidolon's super critical. You need to know exactly what they are playing with. Now that I've tell you about all the different things that could go wrong, the next thing that I want to tell you is how do you actually discern like right from wrong, and what should you focus on if you are watching these kind of a little bit more deceptive videos. It's not wrong, it's still a 4-star clears, but don't go following it like it's the correct thing to do for your account, because two different states of account altogether. What is more helpful and in the long term for your account building is look at your account, what you have, because 5-star stats generally are much higher in terms of the base stats that they have, and you can even run with like E0, S0 on most characters. And on the channel, we do team composition guides to help you build these characters. So a starting point for any of you who are watching this video and you want to know as well, go to your favorite character that you're trying to build. No one is here to tell you can't play with what character, can't play with what character. Especially on EODGamer channel, we encourage any character that is being playable, and we even have teams for them, recommending you for any account you will find value on the channel too. So if you like Fei Xiao, you don't even have, for example, a character like Robin, not to worry, you still can play her. On our guides, we share with you can play with characters like Esther, who's free to play. You can play with like Hanya, who's free to play. Even if you don't have these stats, you will get much better with a E0, S0 character than falling prey to just putting a E6 4-star, for example, because you think it works in that team composition. There are a lot of other ways to play the game. So start with your favorite character and then expand beyond that, build teams around that character and understand the builds for the character and go on from there. And then when you are thinking about what to do next, what's your next team compositions, we have all the better investment videos, power creep videos, and recommendations for you guys who are planning your resources. I hope this video does some help to someone out there that is able to understand that it's not truly clear. If you guys know anyone who might be always talking about 4-star clears a little bit too much, share this video with them. I hope it reaches out to more people, new players especially, who don't get the wrong impression. And thank you guys again so much for watching. Appreciate your attention and see you in the next video.